Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always for tuning into the channel. I'm Ryan Rotolo, and today we have some big news coming out of the crypto space. First off, I am currently on my way to Miami. If you guys aren't aware, I do live in Florida. So I was given the opportunity to speak at DecentralCon, which is a NFT and metaverse event in downtown Miami. I'll be speaking on a panel there on November 28th, tomorrow. So if you guys are going, be sure to say hello. If you're not going, I'm going to do my best to record the panel so I can post it to the channel. And then I'm also going to try my best to get some interviews with some other people there and get their view on things with the crypto space, NFTs, and the metaverse. So that should be fun, and that should all be coming out in the next couple of days. Now, first off, I do want to discuss Metamask. Metamask and also Uniswap recently announced that they will start keeping tabs of IP addresses for their products. So of course, Metamask is owned by Consensus. They are the largest used wallet for software wallets. They could be the most used wallet in the entire industry. I'm not positive on that, but I would be confident in saying that they probably are used more than Ledger Nanos out there. But aside from that, them and Uniswap also announced that they will be recording IP addresses, Uniswap with any transactions that are running through their products. Now, they did get a lot of backlash from this, so because of that, they did put out some statements pretty much saying that it's not fully true, at least with Metamask. So I guess what's happening is Infura, which is a company under the parent company Consensus, they're going to be collecting the data from Metamask. But like I said, they did get a lot of backlash because of this, for obvious reasons, and a well-known figure person in the industry, Edward Snowden, who is all about privacy, called out Metamask and wanted to get some answers, and Metamask went on to say that yes, Infura, their other company, will be collecting data, but they will not be using this data for anything other than their personal use. They said that they have no data deals, and they are an infrastructure company that does not monetize data in any way, unlike many of public RPC services which do monetize data. Regardless, this is a slippery slope in the wrong direction. I do find it kind of it's a pretty big scenario that Uniswap and Metamask in the same week announced this. So they are going to say what they want to say about how this data is going to be kept, kept private, with themselves and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a slippery slope. Most likely some government agency knocked on their door and is forcing them to do this, which down the road can lead to pretty much mass surveillance of the DeFi industry, because those are the two most used products in all of DeFi right now. So this is a really big deal. Now, of course, you can bypass this with a VPN, virtual private network. So that is always an option, but to the average Joe that's using Uniswap and Metamask, they might not even know that their information is being tracked. Because if you track IP addresses, you're essentially doxing the users of the wallets. It's that simple. So definitely bad news out of Uniswap and Metamask, but maybe we can see some more clarity in the near future, or see this completely reversed. More news from, of course, SBF from FTX. FTX, unfortunately, is going to be in the news for quite a while, because we are slowly but surely seeing everything play out in front of us. But we found out recently that Congress members recently reportedly tried to stop the SEC inquiring into FTX, and this was back in March. This was a letter that questioned the SEC's authority to inquire about crypto and, in part, FTX. 5 of the 8 received campaign donations from FTX employees from $3,000 to $12,000. So, to break that down again for you guys, FTX paid off 5 or 8, probably 8 congressmen to pretty much say to the SEC, hey, you guys have no right to be snooping around into FTX. Well, turns out FTX was doing a lot of shady shit behind the scenes, and unfortunately, if the SEC was able to dip their toes into FTX, we could have maybe prevented this whole catastrophic event from happening the way it did. So that is pretty crazy stuff. And we already know that FTX was in bed with the White House and, politicians, but to see it firsthand that they were receiving donations, those congressmen, and they were also trying to get the SEC off of FTX's back, I mean, corruption is just all over this thing. So we also have a little more news from Sam Bankman-Fried, and FTX executives actually donated $70 million to U.S. politicians for midterm elections weeks before filing for bankruptcy. So they literally gave politicians $70 million right before the midterms, and then they filed for bankruptcy, pretty much most likely just using users' funds to do so. And of course, none of these politicians are speaking up about it. They're all trying to lay low key. That's why we're not seeing SBF in jail yet. I mean, there were so many politicians involved with this exchange, and countries for that matter, that it's quite baffling. And it really goes to show for most people are beginning to realize that corruption in politics is real. And it's happening firsthand in the crypto space, which is pretty insane. Furthermore, Putin from Russia, the president of Russia, calls for international settlements using distributed ledgers, saying they are more convenient, completely safe for participants, independent of banks, free from third country interference, and much more. That is absolutely insane. Now, of course, we all have our views on Putin. I think, he's an absolute piece of shit, I mean, to put it lightly. But the sole fact that we have a major country dipping their toes into utilizing international settlements using distributed ledger technology is a huge deal. This will really drive a lot of other countries to do the same thing. Obviously, Russia is doing this because they were taken off of the SWIFT network, and they were restricted from the majority of the world from using their own banking systems and having access to their assets. So they're using another alternative that actually allows them to use a payment method that cannot be manipulated or controlled. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see this sort of adoption from second and third world countries initially, but it is pretty insane to see a first world country and technically the second to third largest superpower in the world, I guess you wouldn't say superpower, military superpower, second to third largest country in the world, utilizing distributed ledger tech. So yeah, that is all the news I have for you guys. Like I said, I am headed down to Miami today to go to DecentralCon to speak on a panel. So if you will be attending that, or you're in the Miami area and maybe you want to hang out or something, feel free to leave a comment down below. But thank you as always for tuning in and watching the videos. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next.